Good morning, fourth graders. Today we're going to continue our inquiry on how the Spanish missions impacted the economy of California and the environment. So again, we're going to go and access our document from Schoology. So here's our document. Again, it's Social Studies 4.2b. When we go there, we're going to go to day 4. Yay, we're almost done. So we're going to be looking at a painting of a California rancho scene in Monterey, California. So this painting is from 1849, and this is when the Mexican government in California closed the missions. Okay, so remember, after Spain was in California, Mexico then was in California. So California was Mexico at one point. They closed the missions, and the Native people who worked at the missions had to find work and homes because they had relied so heavily on the missions after they had to compete for food with the cattle and all the livestock that came from Europe. So many of the ex-neophytes, so the Native people who belonged into the mission, ended up moving inland to live with Native groups who continued to live in the traditional ways. And other Native people actually moved to the towns and ranches to find work in the rancho economy when it was Mexican California. So the question you want to answer today is, what do you notice about the work the California Indians in this image? What skills might they have learned in the missions that prepared them to be valuable laborers on these ranches? And how did this work and life likely compare to the work of the life of Native people before the missions, as we saw in source 1? So source 1 being the one that showed the way that they dress, okay? So again, let's look at the link. All right, so here we are. So here is the actual painting. So now remember, this is Mexican California. The missions are now closed. A lot of the missions ended up being rancheros, so farmland for the Mexican people who came to live here. Again, you see in the background the Native people, okay? So looking at this picture, what do you notice the Native people doing? Is their life much different from when the Spanish were there? And how different is their lives from the first source you saw on Monday, the drawings of their Native clothing? So looking at the picture, just look carefully, okay? You see children playing. You see a ranchero on his horse with a señorita there. You see someone reading over here on the porch. And looking at their clothing too, you can tell who is Mexican versus who is a Native Californian. So looking at the foreground here with the cattle, you see chickens, and you see the pigs and a couple of dogs here. And in the background, what do you think she's doing? And remember, when we went to the mission in San Juan Capistrano, we saw an oven like this, right? Here's the oven. And then you see this going on right here. They have a tool. What do you think they're doing? Okay. So when you go back to your document, so what do you notice about the work that they're doing in this image? What are the skills that they learned in the mission to help them? Okay. And how do you think this life and work compare to the work, compared to their life before the missions came? Do you think it's the same, or do you think it's completely different? So those are the questions for Thursday, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.